The long-running controversy between former President Donald Trump and the exonerated Central Park Five has escalated into a high-stakes legal showdown. The five men, wrongfully convicted as teenagers for the 1989 rape and assault of jogger Tricia Maylee in New York's Central Park, filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump in October, citing his comments during a September 10 debate with former Vice President Kamala Harris. During the exchange, Trump doubled down on past statements, including a notorious full-page New York Times ad he took out in 1989, calling for the return of the death penalty. While a federal judge recently refused to dismiss the lawsuit, prominent legal expert Alan Dershowitz believes the plaintiffs may come to regret bringing the case forward. Appearing on the record with Greta Van Susteren, Dershowitz warned that the suit could backfire both legally and politically. Alan Dershowitz, VO. This is going to be a very hard case for the plaintiffs to win. They were not innocent people. They were doing things in the park that certainly were not commendable, at least some of them were. He added that while the five men did not admit guilt, the full story of their activities that night remains complex and could be subject to renewed scrutiny if the case goes to trial. Alan Dershowitz, VO. We're going to get depositions that show exactly what they did and where they were every minute of time. With some of the plaintiffs now pursuing political office, Dershowitz suggested that the trial could unearth damaging personal details. Alan Dershowitz, VO. They're running for office. They're presenting themselves as the most wonderful people on the face of the earth. They were not. The more we dig into this case, the more we're going to see this as a case of gray area. One of the central challenges in the case is whether the plaintiffs are considered public figures. If so, they must prove not just that Trump's statements were false, but that they were made with reckless disregard of the truth, a high legal bar established by the New York Times v. Sullivan precedent. They also have another problem. He said the same thing years earlier. They were damaged years earlier by his full-page ad. And they have to show that it was the repetition of the damages during the debate which caused the new damages. Despite these legal complexities, Dershowitz said the case could ultimately be settled out of court, though he argued that a full trial might better serve the public interest by exposing the real dynamics of what happened that night. My feeling is probably in the end the case will settle, but the public would be served by having this case actually litigated and seeing the real dynamics of what went on that terrible, terrible night when that innocent woman was almost killed while jogging in Central Park. Attorney Karen Swigart, who supports Trump's defense, echoed this view from a different angle. She argued that Trump's statements were protected political speech and that the lawsuit is ultimately baseless, though she welcomed a judge's decision to dismiss some of the claims. The defamation suit revives one of the most polarizing chapters in modern New York legal history. Although DNA evidence later exonerated the Central Park Five and identified another man as the attacker, Trump has never retracted his past statements and insists he acted appropriately given the information available at the time. As the case proceeds, it is likely to stir renewed debate over justice political rhetoric and the boundaries of free speech, especially when reputations, legacies, and future political ambitions are all on the line.